topic is on the quality parameters of Indian honey and adulteration challenges, current scenario and the way forward. So I did this honey, you can say, research problem during my PhD program. But the basic problem with the honey is that it is very difficult to get the authentic samples. Whether it is an industrial product or it is, you can say, from the beekeepers, it is very, very difficult to get the authentic products, because in case of the industry, the blending is allowed. They are mixing every kind of the honey and then giving it a different type of the treatments to prevent the crystallization, and then they are packing it and then they are selling it. And with the beekeepers, the problem is that in case of the migratory beekeeping, there is always a shifting of the hives. So suppose today the hives are on the mustard, tomorrow it is going to be on the eucalyptus. So when you make the extraction, and this mustard honey will go into the eucalyptus, and ultimately you will face the problem of the crystallization. So the basic problem in case of the honey is that it is very important to get the authentic sample, and the best way is to start your own apiary. So with the help of the beekeepers, this is the beekeeper. Mr. Jagtar Singh is a progressive beekeeper in my state, and along with I received one project on adulteration of the honey from the research, from the Board of Research in Nuclear Sciences, and also I am doing the consultancy for the Sapola. So all that money I have used to establish that apiary, and now I am getting the authentic samples. But when you are doing the beekeeping, I am not an entomologist, it is a tough task. Somebody is saying it is a part-time job or it is a periphery kind of a profession, but it is not so, it is a full-time profession. You have to move, you have to see every hive every day, so that whatever you want in your research, that must be there in your honey. And a lot of problems like that, you can see the peak of swarming is there when half of the bees will go along with the queen when there is a second queen in the hive. So you have to capture all that bees again and bring back in the hive. So you have to do plenty if you want to collect the pure samples of the honey. And then I visited or in collaboration with the various beekeepers also, just to find out what kind of the problems they are facing and what kind of the honey actually we are getting from the fields. And beekeeping is a very tough task, even for this, staying in the jungles, and then there is no electricity, there is no water, there is no mechanical system. I have given the recommendation to the various Indian organizations and the governments also, that beekeepers must be supported a lot if they want the good quality of the honey, because whenever beekeepers are moving to a particular place, you can say the time is very short. You are having 15 to 20 days time to collect the honey, and during that period, a lot of things they have to do. Nowadays, the beehives are not kept along the rivers, so there is a problem of the water. They carry their own water, and there is no electricity also. And sometimes they give the sugar so that the bees can adopt a particular region, and then they extract the honey. So these kind of the problems are being faced by the beekeepers, and moreover, sometimes they don't have a stainless steel extractors. So they are facing plenty of the problems are there. Besides honey, the other thing which can be done, that is related to the bee pollen and the bee bread. The problem is that the standards are still to be finalized for the bee pollen. If the farmer is selling any kind of the bee pollen, they are having the FSSAI number of the honey. So standards are still to be formed, but bee pollen is a very rich in case of the protein, and bee bread is a naturally fermented mixture of the collected pollen. So these two products can be taken, and they can be, research can be done. And the one research work what we are doing, as Professor Tiwari told in the morning, we are using the same techniques, because in case of the pollen it is very difficult to extract the proteins because of the external enzyme, which is very tough to break. So we are using the different type of the techniques to break that layer and then extract the proteins, and then we are preparing the isolated protein. So this is the research work which is going on in my lab, and this problem is given to us by the beekeepers only because they want to develop a certain kind of the products from the bee pollen. So when they are mixing it in anything, they will settle down. So ultimately the solution is that to break it, and this pollen is quite different what is exists in case of the plant. So we use the different type of the techniques, ultrasonication, enzymatic, and ultimately we could able to. And another benefit we are studying it that some allergic proteins which are exist at the surface of the pollen, that has also been lost by using these techniques. So propolis is the another thing which can be taken besides honey, and different kind of the products can be developed from it. Apitherapy is now a buzzword. A lot of work has been going on in this, and in Turkey they have already established a government recognized hospital, although it is near the trauma center, where they are giving the bee venom. So that bee venom is, a lot of techniques are being developed to segregate it out and then using it in the apitherapy. So we have also established a honey processing unit at the slide. As far as the honey processing is concerned, if you go for the good type of the beekeeping, there is no need of the processing of the honey. The problem lies because unripened honey has been extracted, and then you go for its processing. And the processing is not simple nowadays, because in the industry they are doing a lot of filtration. Even sparkling filters are used, so they are removing every particle from the honey. And besides that, after that there is a heating depending upon the how much you can say moisture is there. So it's my own experience. We have done one experiment also that even under the vacuum you are using the volatile components from the honey. So the only solution to get the best quality of the honey is that don't go for the heat processing. Just heat up to a limit so that you can do some kind of a filtration, because if you keep a 100 micron size pollen in the honey, it will not create any kind of a problem for you. But what we are doing, if the pollen size is the 20 micron, we are going below that and removing each and every particle from the honey. So these are the kind of the filters which are available. And another problem is by using these filters is that your yield is also lost. And second is the time for the processing has also been increased. If your yield, if you are losing, losses are around 7 to 8%, then you are not running a profitable industry. So nowadays, even the filters which are used in the oil industry, that are also being used for the filtration of the honey, and you ask and they will give you the honey with a particular kind of the particles which are having a specific, you can say, particle size. All the processing which is being done in the honey, what I think that is basically to control the process of the crystallization. But the crystallization is going to happen. You can delay it, but you can never prevent it. So these techniques are being used, but these are not, you can say, good for the honey. As far as the export is concerned, India is also ranked 4th, and China is leading as far as the export of the honey. In the export of the honey, it is not how much you are exporting, it is what you are exporting. What we are exporting, that is the bulk honey. So in case of the bulk honey, we are exporting tons and tons of honey, which are ultimately not used for the direct consumption. That is not a table honey. So that is particularly used to develop a various kind of the products in the various country. And because of that, the price of the honeys in the export market is decreasing day by day. So if your export is increasing, earlier if you are exporting at you can say $1.50, now you are exporting at $1. So the one solution of this problem is that try to go for the unifloral honey, and I will show you. So this is the you can say the solution of the problem. Nowadays, everybody is going for the unifloral honey, and that is based on the you can say the pollen amount of the pollen which exists in case of the honey. If it is more than the 45%, you call it as a unifloral. Otherwise, it is a polyfloral. But that is not true in every kind of the honey. In my lab, we have done certain experiments, particularly when we are getting it from the food sources. In that case, the pollen content is less as compared to the when you are getting it from the different crops. Another problem is that sometimes you are getting the mixture of the honeydew honey and the blossom honey. Blossom honey you are getting it from the nectar, whereas this honeydew honey you are getting from the excretion of the you can say insects which the bees take, and then they are preparing the honey. So standards are different, but at the same time we do not. Still, we couldn't able to categorize which is a honeydew honey and which is a blossom honey. Like in case of the cotton, there is a lot of you can say insects which are coming on the cotton also, and when you get the honey from that particular, it will exist between the something between blossom and the honeydew honey. So that is the another thing like this. Now lot of countries are going for the monofloral honey like Croatia, because in case of the monofloral honey, you get a particular kind of the flavor also. Like in India, if I go for the lychee honey or a drumstick honey, I will get or a ajwain honey, which is a kind of a herb. So you will get a particular kind of the taste on your tongue. Otherwise, it is just a sweet. So if in India there are the two types of the beekeepers. One type of the beekeepers who are just relying on the production. They are having 500 to 1000 hives and extracting 20 of the honey, and then they are giving to the companies which are exporting. And there is another group who are keeping only few hives, and they are producing a very good quality of the honey, which they can sell up to the you can say around 1500 to 2000 rupees per kg. So these are the two categories of the you can say beekeepers are there. I'm not saying there are the beekeepers who are not doing good or scientific type of the beekeepers, but they couldn't able to export the honey because their production is very less. And in case of the companies, they need the tons of honey for the processing, because otherwise it is not you can say feasible. And another problem with the standard is that some of the standards, they are not you can say in harmonization with the EU system, particularly if we look at the HMF and the diastatic activity. These are the two basic tests which are used to test the freshness of the honey. But in both the cases, the limits, for the Europe the limit is 40 mg, for India limit is the 80 mg. And if you take the honey from the hive, the HMF is only 5 ppm, 5 mg per kg. It means if some liberty has been given, that is, in that case you are taking either it is a stored honey which beekeeper couldn't able to sell because of the fluctuation in the price, or we are giving them the companies a liberty to heat the honey. So if there is a harmonization of the standards, even the 40 mg limit is quite high. When in case of the fresh honey you are getting 5 mg or a 10 mg, that limit is too high. So if that limit is controlled, you can control so many things in case of the honey, particularly its flavor, flavonoids, terpenes, plenty of things are there. Another important thing is about the database. Nowadays, whenever you are selling the monofloral honey, you have to give the authenticity that the particular pollen is present in a particular quantity. But we don't have any kind of the database. Even those companies which are testing it, they don't have a database. So sometimes you have to give what kind of the flowers or what kind of you can say flora in and around where you have extracted the honey, only then they can give you a kind of a report. So that is the another issue which is related to the quality. So you can explore the unique honeys. These are another issue is that we are promoting the Apis mellifera, but I have seen that in case of the jamun, particularly in case of in a state, Uttar Pradesh state is there. The people are taking the comb from the jamun tree and they are producing a very good quality of the honey. So people are now buying not buying you can say honey from those who are extracting the honey, they are buying the comb. You bring the comb in your lab and then extract the honey by squeezing it, and then you can get a good quality of the honey. And on the side there is a you can say frame for the Apis arena, that is particularly in case of the South India and in the you can say in the Himachal Pradesh they are using it. This is the unifloral honey world over. They exist, and this is the way forward only. Another thing related to quality is that nowadays most companies they are writing on the label that it is unsuitable for the children under 12 months because of the presence of the Clostridium botulinum. Although the chances are very rare, but still there are they must be written on the label that it is not fit for the infants. Another thing is related to the blending, that even in the Europe they do not tell about how this honey is blended, from which country, how much honey is blended in a particular kind of a butter. But now they have made it mandatory to write the name of every country from which honey they have received, and they have to write it in the descending order based on their percentage in the blend. Another problem related to honey is that the beehive efficiency is very low as far as India is concerned. If China beehive efficiency is 50 kg, you can say per hive per year, then we are having only 10 to 12. So this low production is also sometimes leads to the adulteration of the honey. Another is to development of the products. Now we are facing a lot of problems of adulteration in the honey, so we can shift to the comb honey directly, and it is very easy to prepare. The problem in the beekeeping is that we are not using the supers. We are taking the same frame from which we are getting the eggs, larvae, honey. So everything is the mixed and the quality is deteriorated. So in case of the comb honey, you can eat it as such. If it is the present on the surface wax, you can chew it or you can take it because it will not create any kind. In such kind of a honey, there will not be any problem related to the adulteration. Another is the cream honey, that the product can also be prepared, and but you have to develop a technique, because in the Europe the cream honey is available, but the temperature is not high, so the melting is not a problem. But in India temperature is high, so we have modified the certain method, and we could able to develop a cream honey, particularly from the mustard honey, which do not melt at a high temperature. Another thing what we are doing in our lab, that we are preparing the honey fillings like the chocolate fillings. In this we are, so I got a signal from Dr. Pankaj, so I will take only 2 to 3 minutes. Honey fillings, what is happening when you are mixing the honey in the flour, then go for the baking, then everything is going to be lost. So if we can prepare some kind of a mixture which we can put in the you can say in the cookies and then bake it, which will not ooze out, and at the same time it will retain the properties of the honey, that will be the most beautiful product. So we try to prepare the honey fillings, and we are successful in it, and we use the different combination of the gums in it, and my student is going to present that paper also on the honey filling. So whenever there is a product development in case of the honey, it should be like this, that its nutritive value must be retained as well as its flavor should be there. Another thing I would like to about the quality, that is the Manuka honey. The Manuka honey is popular because its identification is based on the markers. So pollen analysis, organoleptic analysis, and you can say third is the markers. So best way to identify your honey is the marker name. This is, you can, huge price, this honey has been sold at a huge price, and only thing, it is not very tasty or it is also crystalline, but people like it because it is authentic. So crystallization is the another problem in case of the honey, and a lot of things has been done. We are trying to maintain the fructose glucose ratio and then glucose water ratio, but still this problem still exists, and need to work should be done on it. And last, about the adulteration of the honey, and this is the biggest problem. I think honey nowadays at number one as far as the adulteration is concerned. And I was listening about the product developed from the cassava, and they are saying that it tastes like honey. So same is happening in case of the honey, and different methodologies has been adopted. First it was based on the isotopic ratio, but that was not successful because the adulteration started with the C4 plants, and then they developed the NMR method, which is based on the data, and that has been also, you can say, they have developed the honey or syrups which do not identified by the NMR database. So now they are moving toward the LC-HRMS. So lot of methodologies have been developed to check the adulteration of the honey, but the only solution is that it should be prevented by law. There is, because every time they are using some kind of the resin, and they are abolishing the markers which are coming along with the syrup, and again we have to develop a new method. So in the end, resolution and the way forward is that first is that beekeeping must be improved. We should go for the must use the super database must be generated, and different products should be developed, and adulteration of honey must be prevented by law. And this is my research group which is working in my lab, and Masood Alam is working on the honey field for the bakery application.